Hola estudiantes, this video is all about commands, which is telling someone to do something, and it's going to be with when you use pronouns with them. So when I say pronouns, that could be like the direct object pronouns, that could be the indirect object pronouns, that could be reflexive pronouns when someone does something to themselves, those sorts of pronouns. So the most common one would probably be the word it. So like for instance, if I said eat it, that would be lo or la, and that's when we did the direct object pronouns. Going along with it, the plural version them, los, and las, also with direct object pronouns. If I said like pass me it, or eat them, those would all be direct objects. With indirect, you could likely have like the me, you, and us, me, te, and nos. Reflexive pronouns could be used with any of these if you're telling someone to like get ready for the day. And I listed out the reflexive pronouns again with that. Obviously, we won't be using reflexives too much with cooking, but it's good to have in mind. Also, all the background pictures in this video are inspired by Argentina. Here's Argentina's flag, and it is a country in South America that is known for lots of Italian immigrants that influence her food and then fancy cooking. So I have some examples here of commands that are using pronouns. So this guy is saying, no me digas, don't tell me. So digas comes from decir, to tell. It's negative because the no and then me is going to come before, but don't tell me. Another negative one is no lo toques, don't touch it. Toques is from the verb tocar, to touch. And this is no lo toques. Here is an affirmative one. Here's some people cheating, bad choices. And they're saying pásame las tablas. So pasa is pass, me is me, which got added onto the end. So in two of these three, the no me digas, no lo toques, they put the pronoun before the verb. But in pásame las tablas, they put it after the verb. So a reason for this is if it is an affirmative command, your pronoun is going to come after and attached to the end of a word, whereas in negative commands, the pronoun is going to come beforehand. So like don't tell me, don't touch it are negative, pronoun comes before. Pass me the cheat sheet, the pronoun is going to come afterwards. So let's do some practice with positive ones. Here you can see in the background, there's some grilled meat. They have a ton of grilled meat in Argentina, so we're going to say cook it. And we're talking about the meat, or la carne. So cocinar is to cook. For a to affirmative command, that's the one that's really the ella usted form. So I'd have cocina, and then since it's affirmative, I'm going to put my pronoun for it, la, attached to the end. I'm just capitalizing it here so that way it's easier for you to see. If in the usted command, usted commands is when I take my yo form, drop the o, add the opposite ending. So I have cocine, it's still affirmative. So I'm going to put la at the end because affirmative commands, it comes after and attached. Ustedes commands are also take the yo form, drop the o, add the opposite ending. And since it's affirmative, my pronoun is going to come at the end, cocina and la. Now we're going to do a negative command example. Here we're telling someone not to cook them because so empanadas are like a baked pastry that's filled with meat, cheese, sometimes like potatoes, or like a jelly for a sweet version. In Argentina, here we don't want to cook these anymore because they look burnt already. So we're going to say don't cook them. So no in the to form. Negative commands are also take the yo, drop the o, add the opposite ending. And then here to say them, I have to put my word for them, las, before my verb. Because it's negative. Because it's negative, that's why it came before. But la versus las doesn't matter, it's because it's negative. So this no is what's making it come before the verb. So with usted, negative command, I'm still going to have to put my pronoun before the verb. So it'll be no las cocine. I got this e because opposite ending. You all don't cook them. still my negative has to come, negative command loss, the them part has to come before the verb. Last slide of the command unit notes. Here I have a fancy cake from Argentina. They have lots of very fancy desserts in Argentina. So for this cake, I don't want to cut it because it's too pretty. But I kind of do because I want to eat it because it looks really good too. I think it's a dulce de leche cake actually, which is like a caramel sauce that they're very, very obsessed with in Argentina. So to cut is cortar. My yo form, which doesn't matter here because it's to affirmative, would be corto, but my LAO usted form is corta. The word for cake is, let's use la tarta. That's the word they use more in Argentina, so it's going to be a feminine version. So when it's to affirmative or any affirmative, I'm putting my word for it, la, attached to the end. But now if I've decided no, I don't want to cut it, I'm going to have to say no la cortes. I got that because my pronoun has to come before the verb because it's negative. The cortes came from take the yo, drop the o, add the opposite ending. Cortar is an AR verb, so I do ES. Usted, affirmative, cut it. I'm telling someone to cut it. I'm going to have corte la. I got the corte part because the E is my opposite ending, and then la is from it. It has to come after because it's affirmative. Now in my negative version, I'm going to have no la corte. In usted, whether it's affirmative or negative, it's still the same ending for usted and ustedes commands for that part, and then I put my la first because it's negative. Now for my ustedes commands. Remember usted and then the ustedes ones are basically all the same, except I'm just adding my n now. So I'm going to have corten la. The corten is for the ustedes part, and then I have no la corten. So it's this affirmative negative that is changing where the pronoun goes. So I hope you both learned about some delicious food from Argentina in this video, and then also understand now that here no me digas, me comes first because negative, no lo toques, lo comes first because it's negative, but then when it's affirmative, the me or whatever pronoun has to come after when it's affirmative. Gracias.